Welcome to mindfoodsteph, where we talk all things psychology, health, and well-being. Welcome to this 3-part series on emotional, stress, and binge eating. Both binge eating and emotional and stress eating play into each other a lot, so that's why I've grouped this story together, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. First of all, what is stress eating and what is binge eating? Now, I'm going to use the terms interchangeably because stress and emotional eating are eating for reasons other than hunger. So it may be based on an emotion, feeling sad, upset, lonely, anxious, or stressed. Or it might be for a reason such as a trigger, like you've received an email from your boss. So something usually happens to trigger the urge to eat. Binge eating is typically categorized by two things. Number one is eating a significant amount of food or big portions of food within a short time frame. So usually within a 2-hour period, you eat a lot more than what you would eat, say, if you were sitting down for dinner or lunch. The other characteristics is feeling a loss of control when you're eating. So you're eating all this food, but you feel like you have no control over it. While everyone has a binge every now and then, when it does get a bit more serious, it can be categorized as a binge eating disorder. In order to have a binge eating disorder, you need to be binge eating at least once a week for a minimum of 3 months. And that comes with a lot of other symptoms such as feelings of shame, eating very secretly, and it needs to interfere with your day-to-day functioning such as work, friends, family. But I want to let you know that binge eating or stress eating is very, very common, and like I'm sure many of you have experienced it before. I know I have. I went through a lot of struggles with eating. Now we know what binge eating is. I want to talk about the difference between stress eating and binge eating. And within that, it comes with what is real hunger and what is emotional hunger. So when I use hunger and eating, I'm going to use it interchangeably. So first of all, you're sitting at your desk, right? And you get an email from your boss requesting a meeting. All of a sudden, you have a craving for a chocolate bar. You feel like you need it. That hunger comes on suddenly. It's an urge. You're craving either sugary foods or salty foods. You need those chips. It's a really specific food that you want in that moment. Thoughts start going through your head. You think, why does my boss want a meeting with me? Am I going to be in trouble? Have I done something wrong? And all of a sudden, you're at the fridge having that chocolate bar that you were craving. That is an example of emotional or stress hunger. So unlike regular hunger, emotional hunger comes on suddenly and rapidly, just out of nowhere. You could be going on with your business and then all of a sudden you're like, chocolate, need chocolate. It also starts from the neck and above. So you feel this hunger in your mind. You start to think about it like, oh, there's that chocolate bar in the fridge, or I really need to eat that. The other emotional hunger cue is there usually is a trigger, either an email, feeling tired, feeling stressed. Usually you can pinpoint something that's just happened that triggers your emotional hunger. Now that you know the symptoms of emotional hunger, let's talk about the difference with real hunger. Unlike emotional hunger, real hunger is gradual and it builds up slowly. So if you ever sort of got an urge and you're like, oh, I'm a bit hungry, maybe I should have lunch. But then you get engrossed in a phone call or a Zoom meeting, and then an hour later you're like, okay, my stomach is grumbling. I'll get something really soon. Then you continue to work, and then your stomach's like, and you're like, okay, I need to eat. Physical hunger starts in your belly and it gets progressively more intense. You really have no fuss with what you're going to eat. I don't care. I'm just really hungry right now. So you don't have preferences, whereas emotional hunger is very preference specific. You know what you want and you need to have that. You need to have that coffee and that chocolate. I call this the apple test and it works every time. So when I feel like something, I say, Steph, are you hungry for an apple right now? And if the answer is yes, I'm hungry, I've got to eat 10 apples, then it's real hunger. And what I'll do is I'll eat a real meal. That's the other thing. If you are sort of craving a food that isn't in line with what you're trying to achieve, try have a proper meal first and then have the snack food or the chocolate, whatever it is, after. So knowing the difference between emotional hunger and real hunger can start to give you clues and help you identify which hunger you're feeling. Awareness precedes change, and it's only when we become aware of our habits can we work to change them. Your homework for part 1 is to start to notice your hunger and determine whether it is real hunger or emotional hunger based on the differences provided in this video.